But it is weather time now. Ruth, what have you got for us?
Good question. I'm going to try to put off talking about the weather for as long as I possibly can because, frankly, it's looking horrendous. So, as a bit of a sweetener, let's join Sean, who's exploring the riverbank delights along the Clyde in tonight's episode of Coast and Country.
I'm totally relaxed now.
I'm just going to sit down, just pull up a pew.
Therapy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we needed it because what I'm about to show you might just tip you over the edge. The weather for this weekend.
Yeah.
Think of a word.
I think I need webbed feet.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way of putting it. Yeah. Grim. What more can I say? I'm just going to start this with a full and frank apology. I'm doing it on purpose, I promise you. It's low pressure. And it's basically one low pressure system followed by another, followed by, yes, you guessed it, another. And that basically means not only do we have very, very heavy rainfall, but we also have very strong winds too, as if one wasn't enough. So let's start by talking about those winds because we do have a warning for tomorrow. For the whole of Wales, no one escapes the fun. We could see winds of up to 60 or 70 miles an hour around coastal areas. Further inland, 45 to 50 miles an hour. Now, 45 miles an hour is what we call gale force, and that's enough to cause damage to buildings. So that gives you some idea of just how ferocious it is likely to be. On a positive, though, it is certainly going to be a case of warm rain because temperatures are still quite mild. As you can see, our friend the jet stream dragging in this relatively mild air from the southwest, and then it does start to cool down by the time we get to the end of next week. But certainly some rather eventful conditions to get through first. Let's take a look in a little more detail. Sorry. Should we just gloss over all of that and just leave this here because that's what we need for Friday night, isn't it?
Breathe it in for another couple of moments. Fantastic.
Really sorry. Well, if I had to pick a word, I'd probably start with blustery. It's certainly blustery out there at the moment. The winds are still strong and we've got further scattered squally showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder this evening too. And then into the overnight period, so the second half of the night, it really does go downhill. Once it starts raining, it's not likely to stop. So by the early hours of Saturday morning, well, I promise you Wales is sort of buried underneath there somewhere. The blues, the greens, the echoes of the really heavy downpours, particularly over the hills and mountains. Thoroughly miserable conditions. And again, the winds will be brisk all night tonight. The best I can say is temperature-wise in many areas not dropping from around 10 degrees, so it should be a frost-free night. That's the best I can say. So by the time most of us wake then to Saturday morning, very, very wet and very, very windy. As I said, 70 miles an hour around more exposed coastal areas, further inland, 40 to 50 miles an hour. Now, on a positive, it blows that wet weather through quite quickly. And even though it's not going to be a dry day by any means, it's certainly not going to be a washout everywhere. I think central and southern parts of Wales into the afternoon enjoying the best of any blue skies, possibly some sunshine. But I think across the far north over Snowdonia, Eryri, the rain is just going to keep on coming. And the winds look set to peak round about tomorrow, late afternoon and early evening. So it's going to be blustery throughout, but it's still a relatively mild airflow. So actually we could well top out with highs of 12, maybe a 13 in Celsius if you're lucky enough to catch some of that sunshine. But make the most of it if you can, because through Saturday night and into Sunday, there's another batch of wet weather that's going to bring more unsettled conditions. Still remaining on the mild side, but as I've been saying, there is no sign of any change coming anytime soon, possibly having to wait until the end of next week before we see anything drier and brighter.